He can be called Ar-Rahim as well in certain contexts.
Muhammad can be called Al-Rahim?
Again, you don't know anything about Islam.
I'm a sheikh.
You're not a sheikh.
Allah is called the first and the last. Can anybody be identified as the first and the last, unqualified?
I'm not going to yes or no.
So if you're asking for a yes or no, you can do a yes.
So remember, you said, when I asked you, can anyone claim to be the first and the last, unqualified? So by your own admission, can you admit that even by Islamic standards, Jesus claims to be God?
Absolutely not.
Sometimes a debate is not won by the loudest speaker. Sometimes it's won before anybody realizes what is happening. Watch closely, because in the next few minutes, Sheikh Uthman gives an answer that sounds completely ordinary. No gasps. No one stops the debate. The moderator simply moves on. But 15 minutes later, that answer becomes one question neither side could avoid. At first glance, this looks like every other Christian-Muslim debate. A Christian apologist, an experienced Muslim scholar, and a moderator. An audience waiting for another Bible verses and Quranic verses. But that's not what determines this debate. Once both men agree on that definition, every argument that follows has to be measured against it. Let's go back to where it all began. Instead of opening with the Trinity or the deity of Christ, Godlogic begins somewhere completely unexpected, inside Islamic theology. At first, it sounds like an ordinary question.
All right, so I kind of want to take a little bit of a different angle. I want to do this in a way that relates to you and your theology. The Quran has names and titles of Allah that you would agree only apply to him. No creature, no angel, no prophet can claim these titles, or else it would be what is called shirk, or associating a partner with him. Just quickly, you agree with that?
That is incorrect.
It's incorrect?
It's incorrect.
So just because...
So do you want to get into Islamic Aqidah? Because that's off the prompt.
No, it's not. It's tying into the point, which is...
Okay, so do you want me to explain that point then? Because you're incorrect on it.
So you're saying creatures can actually share in the names and titles of Allah?
Can I respond?
Please, it's a yes or no, because
I'm not going to yes or no. If you're going to ask a question, I'm going to respond.
It sounds like a line of logic that he's trying to run by. So if you're asking for a yes or no, you can do a yes and I have a clarifier.
Exactly.
And then if you want to get through your thought on the line of logic and then offer the clarifier.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a clarifier, which is that there are certain sifat that are only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like Ar-Rahman, that cannot be used for any of the creation. But there are sifat like Rahim, which can be used for creation. Allah is Wudud, He is loving. That doesn't mean that the creation are not loving. Of course, the characters of Allah are unique to Him, but there are some that the humanity does share in as well. Allah is living. We are all living, but the way Allah is living is unique to Him. So your base point was incorrect, and I hope that clarification helps.
It's not, because I didn't ask about whether or not we share in His attributes, like, oh, I'm merciful, Allah's merciful, so yeah, we're both merciful. I didn't ask that. So for example, can someone be called Al-Rahim?
Again, for Rahim, if you put the can I speak?
I didn't know.
It looks like you had. Okay, I got you. I got
you.
Okay. So you seem like you're about to speak. So, like, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ar-Rahman. That is unique to Him. Nobody can be called, right? But even the indefinite Al can be used with certain characteristics. For example, Al-Wudud, the most loving. But the way that it applies to Allah is unique to Him. But as you earlier said, that those are only for Him, that is incorrect. Some are shared, not just that they are merciful, very merciful, but to the level of Rahman, no.
Nothing dramatic yet. No raised voices, no interruptions. But notice what Godlogic is doing. He is collecting agreements one by one. Before we continue, if you enjoy thought-provoking breakdowns like this, subscribe and smash the notification bell so that you don't miss our next analysis. Now, let's return to the question that started all this. Watch what happens when he removes every qualification. The question becomes much more specific.
I'm not asking if we can be merciful similar to how Allah is. He's just more merciful than us. I'm asking about His specific titles. So He's called Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim, Al-Wudud, meaning the most loving. Can any creature share these titles? I'm not saying, oh, Allah's loving, I'm also loving. Can I be called the most loving? Can I be called the most merciful, the living one, which is one of His names? Can I be called any of these things? Can any prophet claim these things? Any angel?
There's your point. Okay. Again, certain ones, no. And that's why you have to understand the nuance here, because you don't understand Aqidah, right? Certain ones, no. Certain ones, yes. You can be the loving. Al-Wadud.
The most loving?
The most loving. Of course. Amongst
Give my red book.
Go for it. Yeah. Amongst, for example, if I said these are all my kids, but this one, he's Al-Wadud. He is the most loving of them, right? That can be in that context.
Notice.
Let me. There you go. Right? Now, the clarification here is yes, even Al can be used with certain things of the creation, but Allah is unique. Laysa kamithlihi shay. There is His level is unique to Him. But answer your question, yes, even the infinite of Al can be used.
Okay, so what you just did is you qualified. You said the most loving of my children. I didn't ask that. I'm not asking, can someone use these terms in qualification of certain things? I mean, in general, outright absolute. Can someone claim themselves to be, in general, the most loving Al-Wadud? Yes or no?
Once again,
Yes or no, please?
No, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna
yes,
answer.
No,
and
I would say yes and or no
yes,
and.
exactly.
Yes,
Got it? But
Exactly.
please do not interrupt.
I won't.
Let me
Just
speak.
answer straight away,
Well,
please.
So-
again, that's why he's trying to run the line of logic, because
I
that's
know, but,
where we're running into.
But
that's
again,
how he's trying to get to his point.
I get that.
So yes
But your
and
point-
or no and?
yes and.
Did you notice the pattern? Every time an example is introduced, Godlogic strips it away. Every time the answer becomes broader, he narrows it again. He is looking for one thing, a definition with no exceptions. Then the entire atmosphere changes suddenly.
We're talking about,
It's
for
over.
example, somebody
Shirk.
being very loving. Are you calling me mushrik here?
Yeah, you're a
Nobody
disbeliever.
gave you that authority. Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
I'm a
You're
sheikh,
not
right?
a Muslim. You're not a sheikh.
I'm a
You don't know
sheikh.
anything about Islam.
I'm a sheikh. You didn't
You're
know?
not a sheikh.
Out
You're
of the
not a
meta,
sheikh.
let's get back to it.
Thank you. So please refrain from calling me a mushrik because that's an
What?
insult.
That's
Yes.
that's
an
disbelief.
insult. Yeah,
How's that an insult?
That is definitely
I don't know
an
what that
insult.
word
Mushrik just means he's a
so-
disbeliever. That's all.
Okay.
He just called me a disbeliever in Islam. That is
Yes.
definitely an insult. Thank you
Okay.
so much. We don't need your takfir. Keep it to yourself. You don't know the wabit of the
I do. You're not a Muslim anymore.
You don't
Now, just moments ago, this was a calm theological discussion. Now it's about authority, credentials, personal accusations. It's the first emotional moment of the debate. But beneath that, the original question has gone nowhere. It is simply waiting. Once the discussion settles, Godlogic returns to the very same subject. This time, he asked about a specific title, the first and the last. Listen carefully, because this answer becomes the foundation for everything that follows.
Allah is called the first and the last. Can anybody be identified as the first and the last unqualified? I'm not saying putting it in a context of I'm the first and last of my parents. No, in a general absolute sense, when they say I am the first and the last, would that be shirk? Would that be associating partner? Can anyone claim to do this, be this, and it not be blasphemy? Yes or no? And then explain.
That's
Again,
a good.
so he made a point earlier, and then he went to a yes or no. So he's jumping off
he's
of it.
asking the
No.
question.
First thing.
Hold on. He qualified to. There was a condition built into asking the question. I'll allow it. The question is a yes or no, right? So you can offer a qualifier for it, but he asked the question right there at the tail end. That's what I'm looking for.
Al-awwal wal-akhir in the Arabic context, being used without any qualification can only be used for Allah.
That answer doesn't sound dramatic. Most people watching probably didn't think much of it. Godlogic did, because it's the answer he's been working towards since the opening minutes of the debate. Before he explains, the conversation is interrupted again.
Having said that, I will address. First thing, you said the Quran says that, and you have not given us a verse. You're lying on the Quran.
I'll give you that
Secondly,
verse.
go ahead. What is it?
It's in chapter 4 where Allah says that He will not forgive shirk. And if you don't forgive shirk, and if He doesn't forgive shirk, you're not a Muslim.
You see how he
because
jumped
He won't
from it.
forgive you.
Earlier he said, now this is where
this
he's
isn't even
caught.
on the prompt anymore.
You guys are giving me a run for my money.
Okay, now earlier he said
Now you're
that
not on the prompt
if you
anymore.
use any of
If
the
you commit
names
shirk.
of Allah, like Ar-Rahim, Ar-Ra'uf, and so on, for anybody else, the Quran says you're mushrik. Now he doesn't have a verse for that.
I just did.
No,
I just
you
gave it
did
to
not.
you.
That's just saying shirk. That is not saying if you give one of the names which are not unique to Allah to other than Allah's creation.
Is that shirk?
That is not shirk. I explained that already. The Prophet is called Rahim in the Quran.
Is he called Al-Rahim?
He can be called Ar-Rahim as well in certain contexts.
Muhammad can be called Al-Rahim?
Again, you're jumping off, but you do
I'm
not have a
jumping
verse.
off.
Show me the verse from the Quran that you said that
Yeah.
if you take any of those names
Yes.
and give them to the creation,
Yes.
it is shirk.
Yes. Okay. I
Go
just
ahead.
gave it
Show
to
me
you.
the verse.
So,
That does not say
let
that.
me- can I
That verse
finish?
does not say that.
Brother, you asked me a question.
That verse does not say
Okay,
that.
that's cool and all. Let me.
You
Go
did
ahead.
ask him a
Thank
question.
you.
Go ahead.
I appreciate it. So the verse in chapter 4, ladies and gentlemen, says
What's the
that
verse?
there's
4 what?
one sin that Allah does not forgive, and that is shirk. For those who do not know what shirk is, like I guess Uthman doesn't, shirk is when you associate a partner with Allah. What does that mean, y'all? That means when you equate someone with Allah, when you give names and titles that are attributed to Allah, uniquely to Allah, to a creature, to anyone other than Allah, in His lordship, in His attributes, in His names, you are associating a partner, which is i.e. shirk. So when He says, hey guys, there's one sin that I will not forgive, that is shirk. When you associate a partner with me, naming someone a creature, attributing them names or qualities or attributes that belong only to Allah, to a creature, is shirk, which takes you out of Islam. Allah won't forgive you, and you did that today. You might as well come to Christ.
Notice something important. Godlogic doesn't stay inside the emotional exchange. He doesn't spend 5 minutes arguing about credentials. He comes straight back to the original question.
Now, let me land this too.
Come on.
Okay? I'm getting back to the point.
No.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
hold on.
answer that.
Let me hold on.
Can you-
hold on?
Go ahead,
Hold
go
on.
ahead.
Yeah, let me finish my thought. So in all of this, like you just said, for example, that Allah being identified as the first and the last, this is something unique to Him. No one can be attributed this name and title. So now, when we go to the Bible and Jesus identifies Himself, He says, I am the first and the last, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and Omega, specifically first and the last. Can you agree that by Islamic standards, that when Jesus claims to be the first and the last, that He's claiming to be God Almighty?
Are you done?
Yes, no?
Okay.
Please expound.
No. And now I will expand.
Go ahead.
First off, what's the verse in chapter 4?
Thank you, 48.
Oh, you didn't know it, huh?
For the first time, Revelation enters the discussion. Not a conclusion, not a sermon, just another question. Uthman now begins explaining why the comparison doesn't work. Listen carefully, because this explanation becomes central to everything that follows.
Earlier, what he's caught in the lie of is he says the Quran says that if you take any of the names of Allah and give it to the creation, then that is in the Quran, you're a mushrik. The verse does not state that. He lied.
That's not what I
First
said.
off, he's interrupting now.
You interrupted me.
No, I did not. I'm going to speak if you don't mind.
Okay, if somebody
Now,
Yeah, come on.
now
Please just keep
that is a lie, right? Secondly, you called me a mushrik without even
You are.
understanding the wabit al-shirk, the wabit al-takfir. You're absolutely ignorant of it. And even here, you're ignorant of it because there are asma al-husna that can be used for the creation, and any book, a beginning book of Aqidah on Asma al-Husna, if you picked up, you would have known that. But there are those that are unique to Allah, and the way it befits Allah is unique to Allah. So for example, Allah has a yad, and if we were to say, oh, you have a yad, that doesn't make me a mushrik. Allah's yad is unique to Him. So that does not make me a mushrik. You have a hand, Allah has a hand. Saying that those two exist does not make me a mushrik. You're absolutely ignorant
never said
of
that.
tashbih. Now,
Let me respond.
let me finish
he gave
now.
you
Yeah?
your time.
Now, when you go to the Alpha and Omega, that is not awwal and akhir,
I said
because
first and the last, not Alpha and Omega. That's what I'm focusing on.
Okay.
please. Golly.
Let's be mindful.
Again.
Let's be mindful. Let him finish through his thought. You want a pen? You can write down some notes.
That's okay.
So once again, when you take something that is in the Arabic language and you try to associate with something else, for example, Alpha and Omega in the Greek alphabet is the first and last of the alphabet. In other instances, you can say somebody's the first and the last. If I was to say that Michael Jordan is the Alpha and Omega of basketball, he is the first and last of basketball, that is not the same as saying awwal and akhir in the Arabic language. So for you to say that because of the Arabic awwal and akhir, that means nobody but Jesus could be called God by being called that, is equating apples and oranges.
Whether you agree with him or not, this is an important moment. Godlogic lets him finish. No interruptions, no speeches, no rush. Because once one's position is clearly stated, everyone can judge it for themselves. Then, Godlogic asks him to do something remarkably simple. Open the passage and read it.
When Jesus says, I am the first and the last, does He qualify it? Yes or no?
Can you give me the verse?
Revelation chapter 22. verse 13. He says, I'll read it for you. He says, I am the first and the last, the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. Does he qualify when he says, I am the first and the last?
Revelation 22 what?
He just read it to you.
No,
I just quoted it to you,
I'd
brother.
like to see it from my own Bible.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Verse 13. You got open all of them.
Revelations 22,
Verse 13.
13. Okay. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last.
Does he qualify first and last? Yes or
He
no,
does
please?
not.
Thank you. All right.
For just a moment, forget everything else. Remember the definition Uthman agreed to earlier. And remember the words he has just read from his own Bible. Godlogic is about to place these two statements side by side. Whether his conclusion follows or not, that's now the question the rest of the debate has to answer. For nearly 15 minutes, Godlogic has been laying the foundation. Now, for the first time, he connects the pieces.
Okay.
So he doesn't qualify.
I have
remember,
Hold on,
with that.
I see
remember.
he's running the
Okay.
line of logic.
But-
These
Yep.
are yes or no's,
Yep.
but that means you got to do yes
Absolutely.
or no's. Okay.
Absolutely. So I asked him for yes or no to build this point, and I'm gonna give it over to you. Okay. So remember, you said when I asked you, can anyone claim to be the first and the last, unqualified, and it's not a claim of being God? Can anyone claim that unqualified? You said no. That belongs to Allah alone, God alone. So Jesus here, as you just admitted, unqualified claims to be the first and the last. So by your own admission, can you admit that even by Islamic standards, Jesus claims to be God?
Absolutely not. I mean, you can laugh track all you want, but that's okay.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you made it this far, you are exactly the kind of viewer this channel was built for. If you enjoy this analysis, like, subscribe, and smash the notification bell so you never miss another thought-provoking debate. Then do one more thing. Share with someone who enjoys honest debates about faith. You never know where one discussion might lead. I have other interesting videos for you to watch. The playlist on your screen is the perfect place to continue. It features more debates where Christian apologists challenge some of the most prominent Islamic scholars, including Zak Naik. Click the playlist and keep watching, and I'll see you in the next video.